So congratulations, first of all. It's an incredible portrayal of a very complicated woman. She is such a controversial figure, and I'm wondering if you have a sense, as I have a sense as an audience member, that your portrayal, as well as our inherent affection for you, help us kind of move past some of those preconceived notions and really see her for this complex being and this vital role she played in Lincoln's life.
You know, I hardly can see the movie yet. I mean, I know that it's a very powerful experience in the theater. I did so much research on who she is. I still don't have any real you know, conclusion about who she is. I feel like she's in my soul, you know, very much in my soul. I right now can't tell the difference, you know, still as to who she is and who I am. I so appreciate her complication. She was very complicated and under-examined and maligned, an important American female in American history. Had there not been a Mary Todd, there would not have been an Abraham Lincoln. And she was despised because she wouldn't go to the living quarters and shut up. She was really smart, highly educated, came from a powerful political family, and came from wealth. And she spotted him early on in his young lawyer life and said, I'm going to marry him, he's going to be president. And she went about to hone him and teach him, and she dressed him and tried to, you know, make him speak with less slang and tell less jokes, but she taught him politically. She was much more politically savvy than he was at the beginning, and she brought him into a world that he had not been privy to before that, her world that was this Southern politics. And so she remained his closest confidant and advisor always. And when they got to the White House was the first time she was really kicked out of the inner circle, which was one of the great tragedies in her life. And he still would come to her every evening and tell about his day. He would unload all of his burdens on her, and she felt everything that he wouldn't allow himself to feel. He would tell her his nightmares, and she would shake all over and wouldn't be able to sleep and would be terrified, and it would make it so he didn't have to feel them.
Yeah, that's funny because that happens in relationships, right? I mean, we see that all the time. And there is this really rich dynamic between Mary Todd and Lincoln in the film, and as there was in reality. Can you talk a little bit about how you established that with Daniel Day-Lewis? I know that you guys did some in-character texting before production began.
We did. He was in Ireland. I was in California. So we, you know, instigated by him, we created the beginnings of a connection that we had to have. He was doing his research and preparing. I was doing mine. I gained 25 pounds. He was doing what he had to do physically in becoming Mr. Lincoln. And so in some ways, by the time we were in Richmond shooting, we had spent, you know, sort of at the instigation of Mary, who had by then taken over my soul. I sort of enforced that he, you know, spend an afternoon with Mary, and we walked around, and that was important. And then we started, you know, and then we were just sort of catapulted into space. So it just seemed so natural by then. We were just simply there. We were just the people we needed to be, and he works very similarly to how I do.
Immersive?
They call him method. I really am method. Method. The term method came from the group theater, the Actors Studio, Lee Strasberg, and that's where I studied for years and years and years. So I really am. So I do work like that. I've just hidden it. Whereas he's bold enough and brave enough and brilliant enough to sort of impose it on the crew around him and the people around him, to understand the difficulty of actors to create and maintain this bubble that they have to create to live and be somebody else. And I have done that, but I just try to hide it and do it that way, but I'm too, you know, self-conscious, or I didn't have the position to, you know, force it. And to have this safe place created very much by Steven Spielberg and really supported and and there by Daniel, it was like I was home. It was like half the work is done, because it just was nurturing, safe bubble to live in this land of 1865 and own it. And I'll never have an experience like that again.
Thank you so much. I love the film. We're excited to have it on AMC screen. Such a pleasure.
Thanks.